And welcome back to part 3 of New Comics, bitch! For this week, the week of April 20th. So, our pick of the week. Now, we just talked about, if you were watching before, we were just talking about Invincible and Robert Kirkman. Now, I've read, probably not as many Robert Kirkman comics as I probably should have been in the past, but you know, reading The Walking Dead, I only get that in trades, people. So don't get all up in arms. I only get it in trades. I don't get the individual issues, just because that's the way I started it, and that's the way that I want to continue collecting it. I like having everything there at my fingertips, and that's how I caught up on Invincible. Was through trades and then through some individual issues. So Walking Dead, obviously one of the best comics out there, turned into a really excellent TV show. And I was also reading The Astonishing Wolfman for a while until inexplicably I dropped that comic from my pull list. I don't know why, because I was really enjoying the hell out of it. Because it was, again, in classic, true to Kirkman form, he just, again, he sets you up for something, cool and interesting, but, it's a little heavy, but not too heavy, and then just yank. The rug goes right out from underneath your feet, you fall on your back, and all of the breath is knocked out of your body because you're just like, oh my god, what the hell just happened? You didn't just do that. Because Kirkman knows the Whedon law, which is not to say that Whedon's the first guy to ever think of this. But, Joss Whedon is a big fan of, not a big fan, but he is not afraid to kill your favorite characters or to do something really, really awful to them. Because as long as there's conflict and as long as there's something interesting going on, then it's good for business. It's good for drama, and it's not just cheap deaths for cheap death's sake. And that's what makes people like Joss Whedon and Robert Kirkman really cool, is that the deaths of these characters advance the plot. They need to get the characters to where they need to get to. It's like what Jeff Johns and Peter Tomasi are currently doing in Brightest Day. With a lot of deaths that are going on there, they are bringing the heroes closer to what their kind of destiny is. And it's unfortunate that people are dying, but still. Anyway, don't want to get too much off track here. So Walking Dead, The Astounding Wolfman, excuse me. And then, of course, now recently getting into Invincible, in full force, and now he has a brand new comic out now, which he did with his co-creator of Astonishing Wolfman, which is Super Dinosaur #1. Now this is described to be a very kind of all ages friendly comic, which is super cool, and it's only $2.99, and there is a complete lack of ads in this comic, and it's fucking amazing, which I hate to use in a review of kind of an all ages, almost kind of geared towards kids comic, but this first issue of this comic just rocked me to my very core, because it has all of these wonderful very childlike, not childish, very childlike, very endearing qualities to it right off the bat. You've got, you've got Derek Dynamo, who is the son of Dr. Dynamo. So I mean, just right off the bat there, you've got these cool, fun, pseudo cliched kind of kids character names. Throwback to the old, really, to old kind of golden era, golden Silver Age comics, where, the names are kind of silly, but they end up working anyway. And this kid, he's about 10 years old, and he's already pretty much a genius and his best friend is a 9-foot Tyrannosaurus Rex he's called Super Dinosaur. And he's strapped to the gills with missiles and guns and stuff like that. But there's no killing, because mostly they are fighting other dinosaurs like Pterodactyl and Brachiosaurus and Dreadosaurus, and I mean, it's just wonderful. And then there's Derek Dynamo. They discovered there's an inner Earth that's about 100 miles beneath the crust of the Earth. The actual this about 100 miles beneath everybody's feet, kind of the center of the Earth, and that's where all of these kind of 9-10 foot dinosaurs come from. And so Derek Dynamo and Super Dinosaur go off and they fight these the minions of the evil Dr. Max Maximus, and and so it's just and there's this new element called Dinor, which the bad the evil or misguided dinosaurs want for themselves, for the evil Dr. Max Maximus. But what's there is the relationship between Derek and his father, Dr. Dynamo. Now there are these new people that are coming in to basically help out with some stuff, basically some repairs for Super Dinosaur, because some of his battle gear was damaged during the fight that we open up with in this comic. And there's a moment in which we see Dr. Dynamo. He doesn't sleep too much. He's just kind of asleep at his computer. He's just this very kind of nice, friendly looking old man. Not old, but older. White haired, and he's kind of got this smile on his face. And he just looks very kindly. But what Derek is worried about is that he's worried about something, and we're not quite sure what it is. And at the end of the comic, we find out what it is. And the last panel, it's kind of like reading a Pixar film. If you're into Pixar at all, you know that pretty much almost every film has a very tear-worthy moment. And if any comic has one, it's this. I almost did break down into tears at the end of reading this issue, because it was so incredibly emotional, with saying just a couple of things and a couple of facial expressions. And it just, I'm kind of getting choked up thinking about it right now. I mean, I don't normally get choked up reading too many comics, but this is really great stuff. I mean, this is a tremendously excellent new comic. And I can't wait for Free Comic Book Day so I can go get the origin issue of this. Unfortunately, I'm working that day, so I might have to count on one of my friends to grab it for me. But go out. I know I've spent this whole 10 minutes talking about Robert Kirkman and Super Dinosaur, which means go out and get it. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to love it. And if you don't, then you have a cold, cold heart. So anyway, like it, dislike it, comment. If you're new, please subscribe. Tell me what you think. Anyway, we're out of the Shadow Gallery for right now, so until next time, we'll